entered the boiler room.
It's Hump Day live radio again here on UCY.TV, Wednesday night live. God, I love doing this show. I love being on this network. It's the one big thing I look forward to every week. I look forward to my Mondays. I look forward to my Wednesdays. I look forward to Friday and Saturday. You know, I don't know. I've just immersed myself into doing this radio gig. I don't know. It's changed me. It's changed my whole life, actually, in more ways than you people will ever know. How about you, Lance? You're getting to loving it too, ain't you?
I'm always ready for it.
When I had Kevin step in for me a couple weeks ago, you actually told me that you missed doing the show. I got you hooked. I got you hooked on running your mouth.
Yep. I even listened to you when you called in the Jewel show, this morning and we're talking to her about it. Cool. Yeah, I was listening to it at work.
Okay. So you know what we're going to be going into after you do your Smoke'em's Market Minute then.
Some of it. I didn't catch everything, but.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll dive into it.
Sure.
So how's things on the East Coast out there by the ocean?
All of our snow melted, so we're good.
Holy shnikes, man. I still got 4 inches it's about 2.5 now of slushy shit.
Yeah, we had 100 accidents this morning because they didn't 2-hour delay everything, and it sleeted up last night and froze again, and there was at least 100 accidents. They closed a bunch of bridges around here because, bridges freeze before the road, as the signs always say.
Mm-hmm.
So they'll catch a lot of flack for not opening 2 hours late everywhere. It wasn't bad over here, but it was on the south side where Virginia Beach and Norfolk, Chesapeake is. But hey, over here, I'm happy with it. Got 50s tomorrow, 50s in the weekend. That'd be good.
Did you see that in San Antonio, Texas, I think it was San Antonio, Texas, they went from 100 to 20 in 24 hours.
Wow.
100 degrees to 20 degrees in snow in 24 hours.
That's crazy. I mean, we went from 70 to snow, but that's a little bit more of an extreme than what we had here.
Yeah. That was Reed Timmer. I think I saw that little shot by him. I can't remember if it was on Twitter or Facebook or somewhere, but yeah, he said that was one of those never before seen in history things.
Mm-hmm. But it's totally normal.
That's totally nothing to see here. People just keep walking.
I've always wondered how they can always say, "Oh, we've never seen this before," but it's totally normal. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Yellowstone's risen 10 inches in the last 5 years. Don't worry about that. It's totally normal. It's within our range of holy shits. So don't worry about it. Yeah, don't worry about it.
It's done this before. 640,000 years ago. Nothing to see here, citizen. Keep paying your taxes.
Yeah, they're like, 200,000 years overdue or something?
Yeah, it's about 55 or 60,000 years.
Is that what it is? Yeah, I knew it was at a large amount.
It's been a while. Yeah, it's been a while. Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's quit going down rabbit holes real quick and head off into that Smoke'em's Market Minute.
Sure. Dow up to 16,300. If you remember, for a while it was below 16. It was in the 15.9s. been as high as 16.
It dropped 200 points a couple days ago.
Mm-hmm. Well,
anyway,
during the inter-day, and then it ended up, 150 down. And Greg Manarino will go into it a little bit, but man, how are you going to explain this away? All the turmoil going on in the world, and the markets are just down 35 points, which isn't nothing. Bonds took a hit today too. I mean, market, Dow Jones and the bond market both taking a hit in the same day. Normally that doesn't happen, but both of them were pretty light. So if you have a 401k, it didn't do too bad today. If you're rich, you didn't get any richer.
But your minions are still raping the people.
Yeah, they are for sure. Couple good stories.
Mm-hmm.
And for dealing with my market minute, Ukraine has limited the withdrawals. This came out on Friday, but I think we saw the story after our Friday show. Or we may have talked about it, but didn't know an amount. $1,500 a day is the most that you can get out of a bank. They're hoping to halt or slow a capital flight.
Or is it dollars? Switch that to dollars?
Hryvnia. I don't know what they call it. HRYVNIA per day.
Okay.
That's what they
Ukrainian
call their currency. Mm-hmm. But hoping to stop the run on the banks, the Ukrainian Central Bank limited foreign currency withdrawals to that 15,000 per day.
1,500.
No, 1,000 is that. It equates to $1,500, but it's 15,000 of the Hryvnia, whatever that means.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm shutting up now. I'll let you finish.
Yep. No, you're fine. Staying on that side of the world, in 2002, if you remember this, an elite insider claimed that on or around March 4th of this year, the doomsday clock would ring. I mean, we've all heard the doomsday clock. We've talked about it before. The effects of which would be a complete collapse of the U.S. economy. Its former vice presidential advisor, Grady Means, I guess was the guy's name, came to this conclusion without a specific target date. It's going to remain clouded in secrecy. But given the state of current affairs around the world, one can't help but wonder if this is what he was on. Just like I had said the other day, our government cannot crash our economy or take the blame for our economy crashing. They just can't do it. They've got to blame it on something else.
Oh, absolutely.
Just like they blamed it on the mortgages. This is it.
They'll blame it on the banks they just bailed out. It's their goddamn money. We gave them all that money and it was their fault. It's their fault.
It's all their fault. And we know that the economy, it's on the brink of a collapse. So all we need now is just a triggering mechanism.
Man, somebody wants you bad, dude.
These people on Facebook can play their games without inviting me to their damn games. And that's what this crap is. When my phone rings, it's my Facebook things. And I don't know if people know this, but they can play those Facebook games without inviting me into their games.
Yeah, I hate that.
Me too. I wish I could figure out how to put a block on all of them. But back to Putin. I've said this. I think this is it. I think this is either they're going to
don't say that.
Attack it through electronic means. I think whenever it crashes, they're going to blame it on Putin. If they put embargoes, not embargoes, what's the word I'm looking for?
Sanctions.
What we did in sanctions in place. That's just going to hurt us because Russia really doesn't rely on us. So it's going to backfire on us. And then when it does, they can say,
well, Putin already said if they up the sanctions, if the U.S. ups the sanctions, then he's going to reject the dollar and he's going to kick it out of his country and he's not going to deal in the dollar anymore. And he's not going to deal with the U.S. anymore. Not going to trade with him, not going to buy arms from him, not going to do nada.
Big talk. Yeah, big talk. I mean,
you don't need him. You don't need us, dude. You don't need us.
He doesn't. He doesn't need us because he's got a partnership with China. He's got a partnership with Iran. And those are pretty big nations in their own right. So again, I think this is it. I think you're going to see whenever it does go down, it's going to be blamed on Putin or something over there. That's just my feeling on it. And it'd be Manarino's too, which we'll hear in a little bit. This one I think people are going to find very interesting. The state circumvents food stamp cutbacks, and all those cuts that they were talking about, if you remember back in December, they never happened. Did you know that?
Yeah, I know.
They never happened. And I really never figured this out until today. What they did is the close scrutiny that showed the cuts amounted to $4 billion in an $80 billion program. So what they did is they said, hey, unless you get $20 a month of a subsidy for your fuel, then if you do, we're not going to cut your food stamps by any money. So what did they do? Rather than cut any stamps, they turned around and anybody that was receiving, currently it was $1 that you had to be receiving of fuel assistance to qualify for these programs. So what they did is they said, hey, we'll save $8.6 billion by changing it to $20 per year. We won't give you any assistance unless you get $20 per year. And now, amazingly, you know what happened? If you can't figure it out yet, the states have turned around and gone up to $20 on the home heating assistance. So they circumvented getting around any food stamp issues for anybody. Now, if that's not just the ping pong ball under the coconut shell game, what is?
Exactly. And that's what they're doing with the whole everything, the whole economy. They're just playing games. That's all it is to them. It's a game. Let's see how much we can get before they stand up and start throwing rocks. Anyway, go ahead.
My last story, sticking with the financial part, would obviously be the two people that died, the two new dead bankers, Autumn Ratke, a 28-year-old.
The Bitcoin CEO.
She was the Bitcoin CEO.
I sent you that story earlier today.
Yeah. I read it, did some investigating on it. Local media are already calling it a suicide, but the officials are still waiting on toxicology results before they.
She was what 36 something, 34?
28.
Oh, 28. Oh, well, shit. She was younger than, yeah. Okay. So.
Yeah. The other guy who had a stroke, he was a little bit older than that, and I don't have his name right up in front of me, but, yeah, there was a second one, the guy that died of a stroke, both of them tied to digital currencies. And then this Autumn girl is kind of tied in with that Mount Gox thing and the $500 million that's missing.
She's not tied to it, is she?
They're
she was
theorizing.
She was over in Thailand.
Singapore.
Yeah.
Where the headquarters.
She had a couple of her own businesses that she started too, though. You know.
She did. Yep, she did. But there was one of the articles I was it was linking to earlier was, hey, does she have anything to do with this all this money missing from the Mt. Gox, the bankruptcy when they couldn't find the money, et cetera. So more will come out on that in the next couple of days, I'm sure. So we'll stay tuned for that.
Oh yeah.
And then, just my last little note on here, the NSA. I thought this was a good blurb. It's nothing to do with financial, but all of the data mining and record collecting that they've done, there has been one criminal case filed based on information.
It's not about criminals. It's not, no.
So I just wanted everybody
It's about
to know.
having a chip in the big game, you know.
But the official story, I'm sticking with the official story here. I want everybody to know that
this is what he saw on MSNBC, everybody.
All that money and time and billions of that new facility out there, they've got one criminal case that they filed by federal investigators. based on information from the NSA phone record collection program. So good job, guys. Good job. Because I know they're listening, so good job.
You asshats. Okie dokie. Does that wrap up your minute?
It does.
Oh, sweet, man. We'll jump over here and hit this video then. We'll let Scott have 2 minutes and 12 seconds. You know, he stays pretty consistent. He does stay pretty consistent no matter how thick the news, fold is in front of him. He keeps it inside 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Very
Some
impressive.
days he talks faster than others, I think.
Yeah, but hey, you got to learn to keep up with it, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
No ad.
Hello, this is Scott Nissel Hyper Report. Here are quotes for various items. First, backfiring. When Obama was plotting to overthrow the democratically elected government in the Ukraine, what in the world did they expect to happen in the aftermath? Russia to roll over and play dead? Thanks to the meddling of the US and the EU, the situation in Ukraine is now a giant mess. In short, Obama's chickens are coming home to roost. Next, sanctions have consequences. A Russian official, Sergei Glazov, has stated that if the U.S. begins trade sanctions, they will start offloading the $138.6 billion in U.S. debt. This alone shows that more harm will be brought to the U.S. due to the fact that Russia does not depend on the U.S. in any way. In addition, Russia may declare its inability to pay off loans issued by U.S. banks, and that would cripple the U.S. economy. What makes this more weird is that Senator Graham said that when Obama threatens Putin, everybody's eyes roll. Next, black swans everywhere. In 1954, the Russians gave the Crimea to the Ukraine, which at the time was a vassal state of Russia. So, with all the chaos erupting in the Ukraine, they think they are entitled to take it back. According to John Embry, everybody is focused intently on the Ukraine situation. It almost seems like 1914 with alliances of nations coming to head. Next, no way out. While discussing federal spending and transportation funding, Senator Boxer said there's absolutely no way we're going to cut spending. If deficit spending will not be cut, then the debt is guaranteed to be unsustainable and the whole thing will crash and burn. Next, 1 in 3. In a newly released Rasmussen survey, 1/3 of Americans have said that Obama-Rec has personally hurt them. Just 14% of all voters now say they personally have been helped by the law. Of course, the illegal aliens at the Oregon Exchange and Road are definitely happy about this free lunch. Next, Obama-Rec delay. The technical problems, insurance cancellations, and lack of accessible coverage has caused many Americans to become furious at these bastards who voted for a bill without reading it first. Now that the midterm election is drawing near, the Obama cabal are trying to selectively and illegally delay portions of Obama-Rec to save their demon-crat enablers. Of course, it does not help when the Obama-Rec architect says, be prepared to kiss your insurance company goodbye forever. Finally, please prepare now for the escalating economic and social unrest. Good day.
I know you got something you want to throw in on that one.
No.
No?
How much more can you add to that?
I know.
I mean, really, how much more can you add to that?
There's doctors closing their practices. There's doctors that will no longer take new clients, and anybody that's on public assistance or anything like that, they're dropping them unless they have private insurance that they're able to keep.
They're all on the same pay scale too, like military.
Mm-hmm.
If you're a OBGYN, this is what you make. If you're a cardiologist, this is what you make. Period.
Right. No matter how good your practice is, no matter how large your client base is, you make X. No matter if you do 10 surgeries a year or 100, you make X.
Yep.
There's people that will stop hiring that already have stopped hiring because of Obamacare. They will no longer add to their payrolls because they don't want to take the risk of going in the red. It's destroying the economy. It's destroying the healthcare industry. It's destroying the insurance industry, which really isn't a bad thing. I think that's a scam, but
it's a huge scam.
It's all about control. Don't sign up. Don't sign up.
Pay the fine.
If you get into a car wreck and you are still able to write, you can sign up in the ambulance on the way to the hospital and they cannot refuse you. Don't sign up.
We have it through my wife's job. She's a teacher. So
Obama wreck?
Well, I don't know. I don't think it switched. because, I mean, if we liked our insurance, we could keep our insurance.
That's what he told everybody, man. He told everybody.
But I did not see a change in provider. We didn't get new cards.
I told Ukraine, if you like
nothing.
Ukraine, you can keep Ukraine. If you like Crimea, you can keep Crimea.
If you like your guns, you can keep your guns.
That's right. If you like Dianne Feinstein, you are a lunatic.
Raving lunatic.
So did you watch Manarino today?
I didn't today, but the one that we watched yesterday was the bomb diggity one.
Yeah. Well, there was two, actually.
Oh, he did the early one where he didn't even have a tie on.
Yeah, well, he did the second alert. I passed you the second alert, too, didn't I? I'm pretty sure I did.
Don't remember.
You probably didn't pay attention. You don't pay attention to me unless we're talking on the radio.
Shit.
But anyway, he has one where he kind of talks about Ukraine. So yeah. We'll dive into this one. It's only 7.5 minutes, so we might actually listen to the whole thing. And it's funny
because I've been talking about this now for 5 days, and then he comes out and says almost the exact same thing I did that I've been talking about for 5 days.
I think he listens to our show. What's up, Greg?
Hey, everybody.
Hi, everybody. It's me, Greg Manarino. How are you today? It is Wednesday, March 5th, 2014. All right, people, a lot of stuff going on here. I really hope you're paying attention. Let's start here. First of all, the equity markets here in the United States finished about flat. Why is that? Well, we're in a holding pattern, and Vladimir Putin is holding the cards beyond any doubt.
We talked about this.
Anyone who doesn't understand that's got a problem. Let's talk about this. So we've been hearing a lot of nonsense and rhetoric out of the mouths of our president and those around him, John Kerry, about sanctioning Russia and punishing Russia. So what do we got here? Putin comes back and says, really, you try that. I'm going to dump U.S. treasuries. I'm going to make it illegal to hold the U.S. dollar. And he's also threatening to seize assets of the West. So, it's really kind of funny here. On one side, you got a
right back in
fundraiser, a former fundraiser, Barack Obama, versus a former KGB Cold War expert and his entire cabinet.
Speak it, Greg.
Really,
speak your truth, friend.
People understand this. And I'm going to give President Obama a little bit of credit here. When he was Senator Obama, he understood the terrible liability, which is our national debt. He spoke candidly. He's gone on record. When the debt was around $8 trillion, he called it unpatriotic. He also realized, and again, went on record calling it a threat to national security. Well, he's more than doubled that now as president. So did he get stupider?
Don't pay attention.
When he became president, or what else is going on here, people? We got John Kerry today after his meeting with his Russian counterpart, talking about how the United States is going to support Lebanon and Syria and the Ukraine. How? With cash, with your cash. Believe me, Putin is setting this all up. This is, and I went over this in the videos I've done. He's going to allow the United States to continue to bleed itself dry, add to its debt, which is a monumental liability. He's using that against us here. Again, he's threatening to dump treasuries, making it illegal to hold U.S. dollars in Russia. Any sanctions are going to be responded with without any doubt. And there's nothing that can be done here, people, at all. Let's go over some economic news. Very interesting. We get jobs numbers today below estimates, being blamed on the weather. Okay, I could live with that. But how about this? The service sector is shrinking, according to the ISM report. Again, they're trying to blame that on the weather, but it's the lowest it's been since the first quarter of 2010. I don't buy that. Okay, we are in an economic slowdown here. Really what I'm trying to get at is Vladimir Putin understands all of this. keenly. This has been well thought out. He is not done with his action in the Ukraine. The rest of the world is absolutely powerless to stop him, and he's not going to stop here. And I believe we have mounting pressure again on the U.S. equity market. This relief rally that we had yesterday, well, we're going to see how that plays out over the next days into the next few weeks here. Because again, I have come out publicly saying Vladimir Putin holds all the cards. He realizes the weakness of the West and how we are powerless to do anything about it. And he's taking full advantage. What I'm waiting for here is China's move. Understand, and I believe you know this already, Russia and China are on the same page here. We already know that China states that Russia's actions are legitimate. And then you hear Kerry, again, talking about how the United States is going to isolate Russia. How are we going to isolate Russia when they've already aligned themselves with China? So this should give you a further clue that they have no clue and are flying by the seat of their pants here. The only people that saw this coming were the Republicans. The Democrats, no clue, zero. They are the party of the clueless across the board here. And it's embarrassing to watch this unfold as an American citizen. And really think about it. Senator Obama had it right. He understood the dangers of the liability of the debt when he was a senator. As a president, doesn't matter anymore.
He's a puppet, man. Come on, Greg.
And his budget, which will never get passed, just adds to that and promises a debt well north of 20 trillion, 25 trillion. And Vladimir Putin is going to exploit that to the nth degree. Pretty much that's it, people. I think this is really important here to understand what is going on here and how this is playing out here. I can't imagine anyone believes at all that Putin is done in the Ukraine. He wants those resources beyond any doubt. And I'm just worried about what China is going to do. I think it's going to be a 1-2 punch against the United States. And this administration has tied our hands behind our backs. We're powerless to do a thing about it. It's very sad. Very, very sad. All right, people, let's see how this plays out. Please pay attention to what's going on here. I promise to keep all of you on top of this. I think, again, the word is caution, upside down, backwards, and sideways regarding this market. You got a lot of the talking heads here on the financial channels telling you to buy here. Again, they will never tell you to sell. They will never tell you to maybe lock in profits. Be cautious. No. It's buy. I'm telling you.
They want
to
your
be
money.
Cautious here. Maybe think about taking some profits. If you believe like I do that this market is going to go down as this escalates, because it's not going to de-escalate, you should be getting short here, in my opinion. And again, I added to all of my positions that are against this market. Just yesterday,
like
check my
Soros.
site, traderschoice.net. There's a link right down here in the description of this video. With that said, people, if you think this is important, please give me a thumbs up and please share this video. I would really appreciate it. We're all on the same team, and I'm counting on you.
Yeah, click on his head. Okay. So here's one thing I want to add into this. Well, and you know what, Lance? I might get off on a rant, so I'm going to go ahead and let you do yours first, and then I'll jump in after. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I don't have a rant.
Well, you don't have anything you want to add to that? You don't have anything you want to comment?
No, hey, I second it. I've been saying it for 5 days right after they invaded in there. I said, this is it. This is it. When they started talking about the sanctions, I was like, this is it. They're going to somehow blame a market crash on Ukraine, Russia, Iran, or China. One of those. It's coming. That's all. That's my opinion. My 2 cents.
Okay.
My 2 cents Rothschild back pennies.
Okay. I want to add this in. And then we're going to get off. I'm going to tell you the question that Jules posed to me earlier today, and I did a little bit of investigating. I had some other things I had to do today, but I did a little bit of digging around, and I couldn't really find much. Maybe you can. Maybe we can by Friday. I don't know. Maybe you know some insider stuff that I don't know. But here's my little add-in off of Greg Manarino. He claims to be this patriot. And I'm not doubting that, okay? I full on believe that he is an American because he lives here. But he is driven by greed. He is betting against this country because he's driven by greed. He even comments on how other countries are betting against the United States by buying gold and silver. They're betting against the dollar. They're expecting it to crash. They're helping it crash. And he's doing the same thing. So am I.
He's called a contrarian investor.
Yes. He plays the market because he knows it's going to make him rich, and he knows how to play the game. But it's all about money. It's all about money. He doesn't care who he hurts. He doesn't care who he helps. Well, he cares who he helps by putting his blog out, I guess. But he bets against this country. Everybody in this country is betting against this country. You know we're going to fail. It's in the cards. It's in the playbook. It's what they want. And they're getting it. How ugly it's going to be, I think that depends on us. How many of us we can wake up before they drop the hammer. But believe me, they're going to drop the hammer. They're going to burn this place to the ground. That is their full intention. And I think they're all on the same page, if you will. This whole thing in Ukraine, by design. Crimea, by design. Putin shaming the United States president, by design. He's going to get the whole world in his back pocket. And then they're going to stomp on us. The doomsday clock did strike midnight, whatever. Because this is, I feel, the beginning of the end of the world as we know it. I mean, it's been rolling downhill at a breakneck pace to this point right now, but I agree with you, Lance. This is I think it's going to be a slow opening, but one day we're going to wake up and there's going to be a full-on invasion somewhere. And the United States is going to start throwing in its 2 cents worth, and so is the UN, and God help us. Don't forget, people, there's a Russian battle cruiser in Cuba. One that we know of. We don't know what else they got there. That's already within strike. All they got to do is open the hatches and hit a button. They don't even have to undock the ship.
I don't think they're foolish enough.
I don't put anything past them now, dude. I don't put anything past them.
It's mad, as we learned back in high school, the mutually assured destruction.
What if that's what they want? What if that's what they want? Population, depopulation, bang, in a flash.
It would make a lot of sense on why they have 300 deep underground military bases, to be able to live out.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be on the ground. They could do an air burst and just drop all of our electronics in a certain area.
True. And that's what I'm saying.
Southwest.
If the elite live underground for 2 years, because they can, probably 90% of the people above ground would be dead within 2 years anyway. So there's your population control. I mean, yeah, it's in the cards. I mean, we all know it. If you do any research, it is. Georgia Guidestones, New World Order, etc.
This is so far out of bounds, man. I can't even wrap my mind around it. What we're seeing unfold right in front of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, with the Ukraine thing, I keep saying to everybody, I said, you're watching something unfold right before your eyes.
History. Okay. Let's back off of that for a minute. We'll probably get back to that rabbit hole in a second, but This is the question that Jules posed to me today when I came on her show. She was asking about this whole Wall Street thing and what the hell is going on. Who is getting rich off of this? Besides the jackasses on Wall Street that are trading every day and living their lives by 24-hour numbers. But I mean, in the big picture stuff, who is getting rich? Now, here's what I postulated to her, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong. But it's the big guys, it's the banks, it's the owners of the banks. It's because when these 24-hour rolls go up and down, sometimes people lose everything in a day. You know, they'll make the wrong investment or whatever, and then they'll tank. And when they do, these big, these elites, they'll run in there and snap up their bank. You know, like the huge banks buy the smaller banks when they get ready to fold. And fold it into their inventory of assets. And the big companies, the big corporations, they buy out other little corporations, especially when they're having a good time and they're really making profit. Boy, that's when they just jump in there and swoop them up, you know. But, you know, with the roller coaster ride on Wall Street, am I hitting it right? I mean, or who else is getting rich? Who else is profiting from all of this, from us losing everything that we have?
You know, I thought about that too. And it got me thinking of, you know, the shadow government or the elite, if you will. We've always heard them talk about them. Who's really running this country? And I'll pose this question to you because it may be the answer to this question may be the answer to yours. And this is going off on a tangent, but bear with me.
It's okay. Go ahead.
Area 51. You know where I'm talking about. Groom Lake, everything else.
Hang on just 1 second before we get into this real quick, because I did switch the phones over. The phones are open, people. We got another people. We still got about an hour and 20 minutes left of the show. So if you guys want to add in on this, if you want to talk about this whole Wall Street debacle and how our country's being raped to the bone, losing all of our worth as a country, feel free to join. 718-717-8296, or if you're on UCY.TV's friends list, just hit me up and I'll add you into the call, because the rest of the time that we've got here is going to be open phones. 718-717-8296. Carry on, Lance.
All right. So who's getting rich off of all this? And I say it's the people really running the country, because we know it's not the government that we see in front of us.
Because all of our tax money, when we pay it in April 15th, doesn't go to this country. It doesn't go to pay anything in this country. It goes to pay off our debt to the bank, to the Fed. It goes for interest. It goes to pay interest on the 17 trillion. Or like, so it's more like 600 trillion with derivatives, but
unfunded liabilities.
Right. Anyway.
So it got me thinking, cause it was listening to that this morning, and then I heard a special on Area 51. All the secret shit that goes on out of Area 51. Would you agree that there's a disproportionate amount of secret stuff that goes on out there?
Absolutely, but they don't have any open budget that you can find.
And the president of the United States is not allowed out at Area 51.
No. You
He
have to
doesn't have
have
a clearance.
You have to have a presidential clearance to get there. But the president does not
Can't
have
get
that
in there.
clearance.
So it got me thinking, well, if the president, who's supposed to be making decisions, his cabinets, et cetera, can't even get out there, who in the hell's running that place? And what
The
kind of oversight?
industrial complex.
But they don't even have any oversight because they have no boss. They're self-governing, but somebody is in control. But it's not the president of the United States who's supposedly in control of the military.
It's the heads of the 6 banks that make up the Federal Reserve. That's what I postulate. Those people.
That's what I'm thinking too.
Yeah. But here, okay, last year, it's been probably about a year ago, I kind of did some running around on the internet and finding out who owned what in this country. And then I kind of went around and I found out who owned what across the planet. And a lot of those names correlate. But if you break it all down, there's about 6,000 people, a little more actually, about 6,700 people that own everything on this planet.
Mm-hmm.
Unless it's something that you personally own, you know what I mean? But I'm talking about companies and biotech industries and banks and corporations and insurance companies and, you know what I mean? All the big shit, all the big shit that's not mom and popped.
Mm-hmm.
About 6,700 people own all that.
I'd say a more accurate word would be control all that.
Well, yeah, but I mean, when it comes push to shove, they own the company that owns the company that owns the company that owns the company that owns that company. You know what I mean? They're at the top of that pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
So, talk about unfair. You know, capitalism rules, but not corporatism. Corporatism is what we're living in. People want to blame it on capitalism. That's not right.
I mean, this is how stupid people are. Democrats get into office, and I posted this the other day. They get mad at the Democrats for the way they run things, so they vote in the Republicans. Then they get mad at the Republicans, and then they vote in the Democrats. Then they get mad at the Democrats, they vote in the Republicans.
Yeah.
That's the problem. And then somebody along, like us, comes along and says, why are you voting for either one of them? And then they call us crazy conspiracy theorists, where the real definition of crazy is, keep doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. Thank you. That's the problem.
Jinx. So, who are these owners of the bank?
The Rothschilds. A lot of them would have Jewish last names.
Yeah.
The Queen of England.
She owns a third of the planet.
Yeah, she's in that shady stuff.
That's what I mean by top of the pillar,
Mm-hmm.
top of the pyramid. She owns a third of the planet.
Couple of the sheiks over in Egypt, Saudi Arabia. I mean,
yeah.
Abu Dhabi, Qatar, those places. Those are the people.
Banco de Suisse.
Them too.
Goldman Sachs.
Them too.
JP Morgan.
Definitely him. He's just more, he got a bank named after him, so he's up in everybody's foresight all the time.
He's been dead for a long time, but yeah.
Yeah.
His heirs.
Mm-hmm. Walmart.
Those
heirs are the top 4 people. 4 of the top 10 are Walmart heirs.
George Soros. I don't know if he owns banks or anything like that, but that guy's got so much money, he influences everything.
Then you got Bill Gates, the Berkshire Hathaway guy.
Rupert Murdoch.
Mm-hmm.
All the big heads of media.
Ted Turners.
Yeah.
But those are just the ones that we do know, that we do see because they are in the public. But there's probably 100 more that are just shadow that we'll never know who they are.
They keep their name out of it.
People.
Yeah, they keep their names out. Well, they try to. The Bilderberg stuff usually makes its way out about a month or two after they break up and go back their separate ways. Mm-hmm. But those are all the names of the people that they want influencing the people, you know, like the Zuckerbergs and, you know, the CEOs of major corporations like Xerox and AT&T and Verizon.
It's a Ponzi scheme. So many people know, so many other countries know that our stock market's a Ponzi scheme because, I mean, to answer the question that Jules posed, I mean, it's all those people that own those companies that are running the Wall Street. I mean, it's a Ponzi scheme.
Right. So the people that are getting rich are the people that always get rich.
Whether the market does bad or good.
Because they play both sides. The people that are getting rich off of these wars are the people that always get rich off these wars. The people that own the armor companies, the people that own the military manufacturing companies, the people that own the missile manufacturers, Raytheon, GE, you know, start naming them off, man. Start naming them off.
Cheney, Rumsfeld,
right.
Those people.
You want to know who's making money? Find out who owns those companies. Mm-hmm. It's all by design. It's all a game. And it's hard. I mean, they throw so much at us on a daily basis. It's hard to keep up with it. You know, you don't know what to be mad at next. And you can't stop paying attention because it affects everything you do. You know, you can. I mean, if you really want to, you can, I guess. You want to go back to sleep? You want to go back to sleep? I don't want to go back to sleep.
I've said it before that if I were my grandparents,
I would probably want to be asleep.
I would have wanted to be asleep the whole time because I'd been dead before the shit hits the fan. But it's not doing anybody any good of my generation to be asleep right now.
No, or the ones that come behind us, man, because they got to clean up this freaking mess.
I don't know that there is a cleanup.
Well, I think the planet might do it all by itself, to be honest with you. Shake us off like a bad case of fleas.
It's done it before. I mean, there's proof of technology 11,000 years old that, you know, what's the word, rivals some of the stuff that we have today. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it's cyclical.
Okay. Let's dive into this Ukraine thing for a minute. Just one more minute.
All right.
So you and I both are in agreement that you think that this is going to be the start of the end. I think this is going to be the start of the end. God help us if it's nuclear.
Don't think it will be.
Land-based nuclear.
Don't think it will be.
I don't know, man. They've got missiles.
So do we.
No,
and there's no
I'm not talking about Russia. I'm talking about Ukraine.
There's no winners. In a nuclear, there's
no winners anyway. There's no winners. There was no winners in Iraq.
But
there's no winners in Afghanistan.
They're going to think.
There's no winners in Vietnam. There's no winners in World War II. There was no winners in. There's no winners. There's no winners in war.
Except the bankers.
You know, if they can freaking sleep at night, then they're not human. Mm-hmm. You know, and I don't think these people are human that we let control this planet.
Reptilians of some sort.
Well, if you want to go there. I mean soulless. I mean driven by nothing but greed and want for self.
Yep.
So how do you fight that? How do you unfeed that beast? Roll with me here, man. How do we do this?
You mean get out of this peacefully? Or
If it's, I mean, if you think you can throw that together, then yeah, let's lay that out.
Well, okay.
I mean, the other way
is we stay the hell out of it. We keep our freaking noses out of other people's business. And, why do we have to be there why does John Kerry have to be there offering them $1 billion in aid that we don't freaking have? Why?
Why won't they listen to the American people? Because I think even if we stand up and say something now, they won't stop.
Because we are being represented by a government that does not represent us. It doesn't represent.
They represent themselves. Right, yeah, they represent their corporate interests and their. Yeah.
I'm at a toss-up with Ukraine because Olga, who you had on the show last week, is very pro-Ukrainian. But
Go ahead. No, go ahead. No.
Here's the problem that I see it. Yeah, she wanted that guy out. And now she doesn't want Putin in because she knows how their country was under Putin, where the rest of us really have no idea. But if Putin doesn't go in, they're controlled by us, by our influence and everything else. Knowing what we've done to the last 5 countries that we had influence over, that we brought freedom to, are they really better off? I mean, that's where my toss-up goes.
She talked about the guy they've got stuck in place right now. I can't remember his last name.
Tenichev or
Tenichev or something like that.
Right, he's an IMF banker that we put in.
He's a criminal, for Christ's sake.
And we put him in. We helped put him in.
Yeah.
I mean, our CIA had a big hand in him being installed, and that's what Putin's so pissed off about.
And that's another
Ukrainian
thing.
People, I can understand why you're mad at the guy that robbed you of all your money and your rights. Okay, let's elect him out next time. Let's not overthrow him and then put in somebody that the USA says, we like this guy, let's put him in. That's what Putin's pissed about.
Right. He doesn't want some rollover government right on his back doorstep.
That's controlled by the USA.
Exactly. That's what I mean by rollover government. Somebody that we installed,
Right.
So I don't know what to do. Olga's very passionate because she's got a lot vested. And there's certain, I mean, she's not willing to, I don't think she's willing to see some of the truth that's out there because of her passion.
Right.
Like I passed her that video today, or the story today of that phone call about the snipers, being hired by the Maidan,
their own people.
Yeah, and it was because she, I asked her if she watched the video or listened to the tape, and she's like, no, because it's all from RT. It's propaganda, right. And I was like, no, that's not propaganda, man. I mean, it's been proven. It's been proven to be legitimate. The Maidan resistance asked for snipers, but the Maidan resistance people that asked for snipers were the CIA-backed jackasses. And when they got their snipers, I don't know who they were. I don't know if they were CIA shooters or if they were just somebody else, but they started popping anybody they could get in their sights. They didn't care if it was resistance or a cop. They just popped because they were getting paid to pop people.
Mm-hmm. Because they shot cops and they shot protesters.
Yeah. They murdered over 30.
Yeah.
And put a bunch more in the hospital, So. It's that
I was listening to talk radio this morning, and it's a guy that's really awake. The guy that does the local, the one that Rush Limbaugh's on in the afternoon. It's Tony McCreaney. He's a local guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, he's awake as you and I. And I'm surprised he still has a show on that network. But he was like,
must have good listenership.
Yeah, he does. And people were calling in and going, hey, if McCain or Romney would have been in, because they were really going back to McCain, because they would have think he would have won a second term. If
Are
McCain
you serious?
These were the callers calling in. I know that. You and I know that. He's a warmonger.
Go ahead.
So they were calling in going, hey, we can't be looking weak and our president's got no backbone and everything else. And the guy's like, look, I'd much rather take Obama's stance of, hey, let's not bomb anybody and let's see what we can do diplomatically over let's bomb first and ask questions later, because that's going to get nobody anywhere quick. Look where it's got us under the last 5 countries that we invaded. So, yeah, Obama's still a piece, still a tool, and they're probably not bombing by design. But what's bombing going to get us? What's it going to get us? Nothing.
No, but that's their MO. They take a beautiful country and bomb the shit out of it and call it freedom. Yeah, that's that's their MO. Look at Syria. Look at Libya. Look at Iraq. Iraq, man, Baghdad was a beautiful city, dude. It was before we invaded.
So was Syria. I mean, there were places in there. And I mean, we didn't invade.
Maidan, you can see that on Facebook. They got before and after pictures of Maidan. Like the fountain, they cut the fountain in half with the pictures. It's just, it's disgusting, man. It's disgusting, but it breaks your heart. Mm-hmm. And some of that was done by their own people. Some of you people burnt your own city down. Just dumb. I mean, I understand that you want your country back, but don't destroy it in the process. Not intentionally. Some of that shit was intentional, man. They were burning down banks and, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's why I can't, when I look at what's happening here, I know all this is coming here. I know this unrest is coming here. And I don't want to see this country burnt to the ground, man. We got some beautiful stuff here. We really do. The area where I live, man, it's gorgeous. Mm-hmm. Grand Canyon, beautiful. West Coast, even though it's radiated, beautiful. San Diego, shit, that's like paradise.
85 and sunny.
Yeah. The weathermen, they don't really have a hard job. Pacific Northwest. Man, there's some gorgeous shit out there. All over, from sea to shining sea, right? Mm-hmm. I love this country. I love the United States. I love what we stand for, what we were supposed to stand for. I love the reason that this country was started. Go ahead.
Our Constitution was written up because they knew how corrupt the government would get. And there are so many checks and balances in there that have been overridden over the last 200 years because the government's got more corrupt and corrupt and corrupt and corrupt. I'll take it a step farther than what you said. You love the United States. I love the world. I've been all over the world. I lived 10 years in Europe, and Europe is a much nicer place than places over here. I've been in churches that are older than America. I mean, I've been in churches that were built in 1000, AD. So, I mean, there's history over there and there's history here. We do live in the greatest country. It's hard to deny that, but our government is screwing it up for the rest of us. And not even our government, the elite of the.
Oh, they're the government. They're the government. They run everything that goes on Capitol Hill. Doesn't go on without their say. I full on believe that. I think there might be some rogues out there that do shit from time to time that they don't really expect, but they kind of take those punches and roll with it as long as it's not affecting their monetary income. But I don't believe that anything big happens anywhere in the world without them knowing about it ahead of time and having some say so.
Had you heard this, since we're talking about the whole area of Ukraine, Russia, and everything else, today that there was another RT anchor that resigned on air
She sure did.
Because she says, I can't be a part of a network that whitewashes Putin's actions.
She sure did.
Liz Wall.
Yep. She said, as soon as I'm done with this broadcast, I resign.
And Olga said that.
Let me go grab that clip. Go ahead and keep talking.
Yeah, I have it right here if you want me to drop it to you.
Sure.
Olga said that, the other day, hey, you can't believe everything RT says because they're Putin's puppy, just like your other. And I didn't really believe it because I had never really investigated in it because I don't really care that much about what was going on in Russia, to be quite frank. But now I see she was right.
Well, and we had that talk when she was on the air. I believe almost everything they say about the United States.
I do. Because
that's not going to be propaganda. Right. It's going to be propaganda for their people, but it's going to be the truth for us.
Right.
Stuff that we won't hear here. Here.
Here, over here.
All right. Here's Liz Wall, signing her resignation verbally. No ad. Oops. It's going to be a freaking ad.
Of course, it's CNN. I got to monetize that vid.
Jesus, man, it's a 30-second one, too.
They really want you to watch that.
They want you to buy this Verizon phone, boy.
So can you hear me now?
That's right. Nope, I got you on mute, assholes.
That's right.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
A dramatic move today by an anchor for the network Russia Today America. Her name is Liz Wall. She's an American who works in
Anderson
Russia
Pooper.
Today America's Washington bureau. She accused her employer of glossing over the actions of Vladimir Putin in Crimea, and then on the air, she quit. Take a look.
I cannot be part of a network funded by the Russian government that whitewashes the actions of Putin. I'm proud to be an American and believe in disseminating the truth, and that is why, after this newscast, I'm resigning.
Liz Wall joins us now.
Oh, shit.
RT America. Also, Jill Doherty's back with us. She'll also be asking questions. Liz, it's good to have you on the program. Obviously, your announcement stunned a lot of people. Why did you decide to resign during your newscast?
Because I got a better offer
working
from
there
CNN.
for like 2.5 years. Clearly, you're familiar with the perspective of RT America, the kind of stuff, the kind of stories they put on the air. So why today?
Why today? That's a good question. I think the coverage, as we're in this diplomatic standoff and during the escalation of this crisis in Crimea, I think the propagandist nature of RT came out in full force. Today, for example, I had an interview with Ron Paul. The only question that I asked, I asked many questions. I asked about the Russian intervention. He has a very anti-intervention approach. I asked him in the wake of escalation by the Russian military, how long, how should we respond to this? How should the U.S. respond to this? And that question was cut out of the interview. There was another segment today. It was a news package from one of our correspondents that painted the opposition over there in the Ukraine as having neo-Nazi elements. And I think that's very dangerous when you have a new government instability over there. And I'm sure that there are, in fact, neo-Nazi elements, but to portray the entire opposition as being part of this right-wing extremist group is going along with the narrative that Vladimir Putin wants to go along with.
Was this something you had always felt pressure? I mean, how does it work at RT? Where do directions come from?
The direction comes from...
Be careful, Liz. He's gathering intelligence for the CIA.
I think there's a lot of young people that work there, some people inexperienced, and I think that they're eager to please management. There's a form of self-censorship that you learn. Eventually, you learn what management likes, what management dislikes. today, especially with the heightened situation in Crimea. Overtly questions are being written, that very, very loaded questions basically to paint the picture and to present the Putin perspective in all of this. And I just think, I mean, I would hope, as a reporter and in life, you should always seek the truth, spread the truth, disseminate the truth. And what's clear is what's happening right now amid this crisis is that RT is not about the truth. It's about promoting a Putinist agenda. And I can tell you firsthand, it's also about bashing America.
Show me a network that doesn't have an agenda. Show me one that talks the truth about everything.
We're going to find out just where Liz Wall's morals stand when we find out what her next job is.
And that's what I was about to say, because, the CNN, as they call it, the Communist News Network, it's about bashing America. I mean, that's what RT is about. But that's why I watch RT, because they get the scoop on America that you're not going to see on the mainstream media. And yes, some of it may be far-fetched, but that's about, doing your research and Googling it and seeing if you can find somebody else that's got a couple stories about it. But that's, You
have to find the truth through the facts.
Thank you.
And you have to have some discernment. But a lot of people in this country don't anymore, man. They're not capable of critical thinking anymore. They just hear the narrative online, hear the narrative on TV, blah, 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 blah. That little 30 seconds, blah, 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 blah. Here's what we want you to think. Now go back to sleep.
Yeah. Good evening. It's 6:00, and here's what we want you to think.
Here's the bullshit we came up with today. Mm-hmm. Hollywood.
I think they call it Mockingbird.
Operation
Mockingbird.
Mm-hmm.
Turn that crap off, people.
Yap.
I'm sure most people in the room don't have TV anyway, so.
I would hope not. There wouldn't be a TV in this house if it wasn't for my mom. She likes her TV. And I do everything I can to please her.
Yeah, well, I got to be able to watch my Redskins.
I dropped that CNN article there. If anybody wants to go look at the Communist News Network and watch the clip. Anderson Pooper and Liz Wall. So, it was kind of shocking. They didn't play her whole exit, what she said about her parents coming from, I can't remember where, but emigrating to Russia.
Lithuania or something
something like that. Yeah. One of the invaded countries back in the Nazi Holocaust.
Hungarian.
Hungary. Yeah, that's it, Hungary. And then, but she grew up here in the States. She lives in New York. I can't remember when she came over here, but she's been here for a while, and she's proud to be an American. So she quit RT. And now she's going to go to work for CNN. I guarantee you she's going to be somewhere at some big MSN network within a month. I'll bet you.
Yeah, probably.
Just because she quit RT. And they're going to want to get her inside on RT because RT's been kicking ass. As far as ratings and stuff, they're kicking
over
ass.
Here. Yeah, over here. Over here, because you've got awake people like us, me, that want more information, and at least they're giving out.
So what are you guys doing over there at RT?
Most of it.
Yeah, what are you guys doing over there at RT that's getting you all the ratings? We're reporting on fracking and chemtrails and government insider shit, and we can't do that. Well, you're done then.
Yep. Yeah, I don't believe a news anchor or a news station would be, because what is it? 6 news companies own 1,000 newspapers, TVs, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh yeah, it's more than that. It's like 3,700.
3,700. That's it.
3,700 different radio stations, TV stations, newspapers, and magazines.
So what are the chances?
6 different companies.
6 companies. So what are the chances of being able to talk like this and keep your job at any one of those places?
Oh, slim and none, dude.
She comes here and she finds out that Wait a minute. You want me to report this story on this congressman up here, and I know what they're saying is bullshit.
Right. You know, you're not going to keep. Yeah, you're not going to keep your job.
We'll find out how her ethics are.
Right, how her morals stand. If they stand the test of money.
Right.
Because she was probably getting pretty good over there. She was sitting behind the anchor desk on the RNRT USA. Mm-hmm. So, but I never really liked her anyway. I thought she was kind of snooty. They got some over there that are really pretty snooty. But anyway, I had something I was going to do. I had a hole I was going to go down, and I can't remember what it is now.
I like holes.
I'll get it here in a minute.
That's what it's all about.
So if we're not going to get the truth from our networks because they're at the beck and call of our government saying whatever they want to be, and it's hard as hell to get it out online because they, try to run you out. They jam up your network. They mess with your audio. They do whatever they can to keep you from getting it out. Sometimes they raid your place and take all your shit and, slander your name. That's a big one, man. Mm-hmm. Start dropping all kinds of bad information. And that's your database out there in Utah. That's why all that's, they only got one filed, one criminal, but they got dirt on everyone.
But they can't access without reasonable suspicion. So, hey, if you're not doing anything wrong, you don't have anything to worry about.
And if it's serious, you'll hear about it on CBS. So, what do we do? How are we going to get the word out and get these people, like we were talking about earlier, what's the solution that we can reasonably try to do? Or do you think it's just going to happen automatically? I mean, do you think that the government crap, because every time you see Obama get on TV and start talking, you just know he's lying through his teeth.
Through his teeth. Right.
Are people going to get their fill of that and say, okay, that's enough? Are they going to get a fill of all the police beatings and say, okay, that's enough? Are they going to get a fill of all the stock market roller coaster up and down, losing their 401ks and getting fired from their jobs, and then are they going to get enough? Obamacare?
Not as long as you can turn on the TV and every single story everywhere is about some 18-year-old kid that left her house and is suing her parents for money, because that's news right now. That's the news. I mean, that story took up 15 minutes.
Not the 100 sailors that are dying from Fukushima radiation.
Or the largest number of babies being born without brains in Yakima, Washington from Fukushima. So, yeah.
They're not even tying that to Fukushima.
Oh, of course not. Of course not. I mean,
you have that story?
I do.
Read that. I want you to read that. I don't know if you people have caught this yet, but we now have infants being born in this country without brains in their cranial cavity.
Large number of babies being born without brains in Yakima, Washington. There has been a steep increase in the number of babies born without brains in the area surrounding Yakima, Washington. And all the trends of this sort have a reason. Though radiation is not the best mutagenic agent, it's the only variable that could be causing this. The Yakima region of Washington state got the brunt of the American fallout from reactor number 3. And since that is an obvious causative variable, I'm going to say that the recent rash of birth defects in Yakima region have their cause rooted in the blast from number 3. Of course, controlled opposition sites are going to blame whatever else they can to shift the blame away. But if you're looking at the big picture, You know, it's not hard to really put the pieces together. That's the article. It wasn't a whole big long one.
Connect the dots. Melting starfish, mass deaths, sea life, you know, going out to fish for sardines, not finding not one.
In 6 days, it will be 3 years that, 3 million gallons or 300,000 gallons a day?
300 million gallons a day.
A day.
For 3 years. And that's not counting all the tanks they got sitting on the ground up there rusting.
I was about to say that.
That are full of highly radioactive waste too. And you know, when one lets go, if it's a huge pop, that flush of water is going to knock the other ones off of their foundations and shit. It's just going to be like a cascade. You know, it's going to be like a big bunch of dominoes. And everybody within 10 miles of that place is going to be drowned in that shit. You know, not the water, but the radiation that's going to emit. You realize they're letting people go back to their damn homes now in parts of Fukushima Prefecture? They're letting farmers go ahead and work the ground again.
Yeah, the farmers won't eat the food that they're growing though.
But they'll sell that shit in the marketplace.
They have to. It's called survival, you know. But you were saying, so where do you get your news from? You know, quite frankly, Scott at the Hyper Report, the Potter blog, the Lee Camps of the world, the Manarinos. I would say AJ, but we all know he's a shill. Yeah, exactly. We all know he's a shill because he's being controlled by somebody. I just haven't quite figured it out.
That's Operation Mockingbird right there.
It is Mockingbird. Kokesh, that guy, another tool, you know, raising. So you've got to be careful that, the Montague, the CIA guy, the one that is really weird. Is that his name? Monograph. I think he's a tool. I think he's a disinformation guy.
Yeah, he's a distraction artist.
Exactly. I think he's a disinformation guy. Comes out there speaking the truth.
But he'll pop a little truth every once in a while.
Yeah, that's true.
I quit listening to Monograph when he predicted the Super Bowl. It was so far off, it wasn't even funny.
Way off.
Yeah, because he had people convinced putting money on that game.
Yeah, he did.
A lot of people lose a lot of money, so fuck him. Damn, I was trying to go through the show.
But that's where, I truly think you're going to get your source, because if anybody has to rely on a paycheck to give out the news, they're going to be giving out the news that the person signing that paycheck wants them to give out.
That's right.
All these people on the Potter blog, the Scott, the Manarino, some of the other ones that we watch, the News in 2 Minutes guy, Lee Camp, they're not getting paid by anybody. So they have nothing, no other motive other than trying to get out what they fully believe would be the truth.
Yep. And you might think it's stupid to get your news from the YouTube or get your news from, different websites, independent websites, but, I soak up information from 100 different places and filter through it the best I can, put on my bullshit deflector, and I think I come up with some pretty good answers to the questions that I've got. And I try to push that information out. I don't think it's bad information. Otherwise, I wouldn't tell you people about it. Mm-hmm. If I'm wrong, I'll come up on the next show and tell you that I'm wrong. If somebody proves me wrong in the chat room, I'm fully capable of saying, whoops, I bit the big one on that, So.
Yeah, and they're mentioning Corbett, in the room, the Corbett report. I love him a lot. And, apparently, Jelly Effect is going to have him on his show coming up. So I'm going to have to listen to that. That'll be good because I like him a lot.
Nice. Yeah. Chuck's got an awesome show.
He does.
Saturday night right before we come on with After the Last Cup.
Yeah. I like that. It's a good show.
Yeah. We got another new one starting on Sunday. I can't remember what it is right off the top of my head, but I'm sure Jules will pound it into me sooner or later, so I'll get to know the name of it. So we still got 40 minutes left, about 39. Got anything on your front burner that's kind of eating at you, or?
No, I mean, I've been, the stuff that's just pissing me off more than anything else is people that follow this political system thinking that one of these guys has their best interest in heart. And talking to somebody that's voted their whole life, I don't know how I got woken up, because I was a stone cold hard Democrat. I watched Rachel Maddow. I love Keith Olbermann. I think he was the greatest commentator on the face of the planet.
He was pretty damn stupid though.
But he was good, and he made you laugh. At the same time, I like Jon Stewart, So
I like Jon Stewart. I do like Jon Stewart.
And he gives it on both sides. But I mean, I've always been a Democrat labeled. If you were going to label me something, I was a Democrat. But now I just consider myself awake. I'm not either one. I'm an American. I'm awake, not Democrat, Republican. But how do you talk sense into these people? Because it's like talking to Olga with RT, or Russia with Putin and everything else. You have your convictions and you're set in them, and these people are set in them. It's so hard. How in the hell did I wake up? I don't understand.
Something triggered that.
It was 9/11 for me. I mean, there was no doubt. It was 9/11.
Yeah, that's what it takes. There's gotta be some kind of flagrant in your face nose flick that gets your attention. And then, some people don't get fully awake though. Some people claim to be awake, and I talk about this quite a bit.
You do.
And bless your hearts. There's some people in the room that claim to be awake that aren't completely wide open, eyes wide open, but they're awake in their frame of focus. You know what I mean? Like they got one thing or two things or three things maybe that they're just really chewing the wood at, and they're going after their answers, but they're not big picture open. You know what I mean? So, and it's understandable. It's understandable because I've got distractions. You've got distractions. Shit, you've got a huge, you're trying to get your whole life back together and go a different direction. So I know you're distracted, and everybody out there's you got bills to pay, right? You got car payments, you got house payments, you got rent, whatever, mortgage, got to buy your food, got to make it to work at 7.
Mm-hmm.
Got to get home by 5, man, so you can be there for the kids and spend some quality time and, cook dinner. So everybody's got their distractions. But you also got a big picture, Think about this. How much time do we got? Because it's not up to us. We're not the ones that are going to be throwing the switch and making all this go to shit. And that day's coming. Don't kid yourselves, people. It might be a year from now. It might be 5 years from now. It might be 5 days from now. Don't kid yourself.
Have you ever had a conversation with somebody about what you're just talking about right now? A friend. And you say,
batshit crazy.
Exactly. And not only say you're batshit crazy, but actually get violent.
Defensive.
Yeah. And it's the cognitive dissonance. I mean, that's all I can rack it up to.
There's no way that's going to happen in this country, dude. Look,
exactly.
We've been going along for 100 years. Yeah. It's not going to, no, go eat another crayon, man.
But they get mean about it. I mean, because
hey man, I've lost friends over it. I don't care.
Me too. And you strike a nerve so hard by telling the truth that it goes against every single grain of quote unquote rational thought in their mind that they blow up at you. And then you kind of got to back off because what are you going to do at that point if you want to keep your friendship?
But do you really want to? I mean, look, I've said this all my life.
I don't want to alienate anybody.
Well, but stupidity is contagious.
Right.
So I don't suffer it. I don't suffer stupidity, man. If you come off as a complete blow off to me, like someone that doesn't have I don't know, two sticks to rub together, man, however you want to put it, then I don't got any time for you. I just don't got any time for you. It might sound harsh to people, and I might sound like a real dumbass or whatever, you know, a butthole, whatever you want to call me, but I just don't. I don't have time for that. I got too many other things going on. I got too many important things that I'm trying to stay focused on. I don't have time for stupid people. I don't have time to try to explain it anymore. I've tried that for 10 years or more. You know?
I try to get people to do their own research because me telling them is only going to get them so far or get anybody so far.
Right.
If they're not going to spend 10 minutes researching something before they dismiss it, then, you know, you really can't do nothing about that. But it just kills me when I have friends and family that I try to wake up and then you get that kind of reaction and you're like, oh, you know, do I back off or it's hard.
You can't. I mean, you know, if that's what you choose to do, I tried to wake people up for a long time, and I'd sit there and beat my head against the wall trying to get friends of mine to open their eyes. And then I got to the point where, you know, I'll just kind of bring it up in passing in conversation, you know, cause these guys, you know, when I'd start doing, I get the eye rolls and all that shit.
Me too.
So I'd be like you, I want to keep this dude as a friend. So I'm just going to sit down here and play some games with him and, you know, play some cards.
Talk some football,
right. And then just bring it up in
traffic.
passing a little bit though. You know, just, hey, look, man, you see them chemtrails on that show? You know, see them up in the sky back there? What do you see? What do you see them lines? See, that's chemtrails like I was telling you, man. Really?
Raid for humans.
That's what I told you. Raid for humans.
I'll never forget that saying as long as I live. I sent a picture just for the listeners. I sent a picture to Jimmy of huge contrails, that were up in the air that made a big old swooping sign.
Yeah, one of them turned 90 degrees and went the other.
Yeah, you texted back to me, raid for humans. And I've put that on a couple more posts on Facebook. When I see it, I'm like, yep, raid for humans. I love it.
Exactly what it is, man. You can't run. Raid! That's exactly what it's doing. It's blowing up this planet, you know, and every single country in the United Nations is spraying, has a chemtrailing.
And do you know how they keep the masses stupid on it is because everybody goes to Wiki. And I heard Jules quote Wiki this morning and I cringed. I don't know if you heard it. I was just joking, you know.
There's facts on Wiki, man.
Yeah, but there are some facts. But I always laugh about it because we always use it as a joke between you and I.
Right.
But if you go to chemtrail, Google chemtrail, and it takes you, the very first one is Wiki. And you click on it, and the very first sentence has the word conspiracy, popular among conspiracy theorists. But every time somebody tries to update the page with accurate information, whether it be a scientist or something, somebody is there, bam, and takes it right out, right away.
Government troll.
Troll.
Yeah, if you people don't know that, man, they have thousands of people every day sitting behind computers, working for the United States government, trolling the webs, instigating shit, and removing factual information, jamming up people's websites, man, DDoS attacks. Yeah, it's proven. There are tens of thousands of government employees doing it. Maybe not tens, but there are thousands doing it.
Even on Before It's News, you can go read a story on Before It's News and you can tell when one gets too close to the truth because you see the trolls down at the bottom.
Yep.
You know, oh no, this is the greatest thing on the planet. What are you talking about? You know, this made sliced butter for me. And that's what we're up against.
Yeah.
A well-funded well armed.
Domestic organization.
It's like having a battle of wits against an unarmed man, because there's so many people that are unarmed with no wits about them in this country right now.
I think money equals stupidity. I think the more money you have, the dumber you become.
It depends.
Or the less,
if you had to
the more
work
apathetic.
Hard for it,
how about that?
and
The more
your money. If it was you had to work hard for it and it was your money, a lot of those people don't forget where they came from. It's the ones that are born into it or, get mega rich. I think somebody that makes $125,000-$150,000 a year,
that's
would you
rich
consider
now,
them?
Dude. When
exactly.
we were young, that was
Consider
rich,
them
but not now. Shit.
When
I dropped that on a freaking car.
When I took my first loan application from a guy that worked at Merrill Lynch in the hostile takeover department, and his salary was $1.5 million a year. That's salary. He paid almost $50,000 a month in federal taxes. That's a month. I saw it on pay stubs. That's rich.
That's ridiculous, dude.
That's rich. And I'll never forget that application when I took it. And the guy said, I said, what's your income? And he said, 1.5. And I said, okay. And then I saw
that, please.
I saw a pay stub that was at $125,000 a month. And I was like,
know how to swim.
Shit.
Those are the kind of people I'd like to save their life. I'd like to run up on Warren Buffett's car on fire on the side of the road and pull his ass out.
Yeah. Be the good Samaritan that gets.
I would just to be able to shake his hand and go, open that fat wallet.
That's right.
Cause I'm going to do some good with your money. If I ever what would you do if you ever hit the lottery? Honestly.
I've thought about it. I've thought about it, and you'd laugh. You're going to laugh at me. I would actually I would help these people that I know build a church. And I know that's weird. I know it's weird coming from me. I know. It's religious.
If you say anything to do with rye, I'll slap you. I'll hang up on you.
Not even freaking close. But there was a church that my wife, that my wife and I went to. And I'm telling you, they actually did it out of a Scottish Rite temple, those are like Masons, Freemasons.
Yep.
But, they always had to go different buildings, and they're such good people, and they give back to the community in such a way, and they don't have a building. And I've always said, if I won the lottery, I would build them a church because they do great things for the local community. And they're one of those churches where you go in there in shorts and blue jeans, t-shirts. They sing rock music.
Open to everybody.
Yeah, the preacher's got a big old long beard. He was a Grateful Dead head guy. So, it's that kind of church. It's non-denominational, which was, if I was going to go to a church.
Took an acid trip 1 2 minutes, saw God.
Maybe. But they do good things. So
I know,
that's what I would do. That would be one of the things I would do. Just to help somebody out.
What if you hit huge money? Like 600 million, like one of these jacks that just hit 600 million or plus. I mean, come on. Let's get real. I know you'd help people, but would you go overboard with your shit? I mean, would you build a great big huge house and have 25 cars and all that crap?
It would be hard not to build yourself at this point in my life. If you asked me that question 5 or 10 years ago, my answer would be different.
Oh yeah, I know.
But
with age comes wisdom, dude.
Right. Yeah. 5-10 years ago, I would have bought a big old, ball of crack and had a whole bunch of hoes over. And 10 years ago, 20 years ago.
Did you just do that, dude? Come on.
But no, nowadays, hey, build me a mountain house and then try to take care of as many people as I could. Really. You can't take it with you. I know what's coming. So I would try to help out as many people as I could.
Individually, correct? I mean, you wouldn't start giving to organizations and shit like that, right? I mean, you'd go out Yeah, that's what I'd do. I'd splurge a little bit on myself and my family just because I want them to have nice things. I mean, everybody wants their people to have nice things, right? I want my mom to have the nicest shit she can have. Mm-hmm. And, and I'd make sure that my nephews were taken care of. But after that, I think I'd buy a big ass motorhome and I'd just drive around the country giving away money.
Yeah, I could see that.
I'd want to do it like, throw an anonymous mask on and start walking through a mall and just start handing people $100 bills or,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't want anybody tying me to it. I wouldn't want any recognition. I just want to give it away. Because it's not doing me any good. I swear to God, I think that money is the root of all evil. And it makes people stab each other in the back for a $5 raise. It makes people dial an 800 number and snitch on their neighbor for $1,000.
It does.
Money's evil. It's the root of all evil.
Speaking of good deeds, did you see the video of the guy that does the drive up window prank where he's dressed like a car seat?
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And everybody's seen that one before.
Right.
Because it's hilarious. Well, the guy in his hometown, and it's a video that I just saw today. I posted it on my wall and it's making the rounds right now. But there's a homeless guy that stays out front in his neighborhood. And everybody says that he's just a nice guy, but, had a bad run of luck and is homeless, but a really, really, really nice guy. So the guy said, he walked up to him and the store clerk was in on this and said, "Hey, I don't have any money to give you, but I have a winning lottery ticket. I know I won a couple dollars on it. I'll give it to you." And the homeless guy was like, "Man, are you sure?" And the guy was nice. I mean, the guy was very nice. And so they walked into the store, cashed in the ticket. The cashier was in on it.
Right.
And the ticket was actually a losing ticket. But they were made to pretend that it was $1,000 winner. So when the homeless guy handed the ticket to the clerk looked it up and was like, "Oh my God, you've won $1,000. And the clerk gave him $1,000 and the homeless guy tried to give $500 back to the guy that gave him the lottery ticket.
Yep.
That's just, that broke my heart right there. And then the guy broke down, started crying, and the guy had to hug him because nobody had ever done anything so nice for him in his life. That's the kind of shit I would do if I had that stupid kind of money. That's the kind of stuff I would do.
Yeah, absolutely. I saw some videos. Live Leaks has a couple of them out there, and there's another activist group that posts some great videos. And I think we talked about this on one of our other shows too. Of the guys that just go around and like they'll make up bags for the homeless people that's got like a couple of bottles of water and some t-shirts and socks and a pair of shoes or and they just go around giving it to people, and the only thing they want from them is a hug.
Yep.
That's all this, what can I do for you? Stand up and give me a hug. Stand up and give me a hug. Just give me a hug.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I do that with the umbrellas. That's why I had all those umbrellas that I saved from that golf tournament.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you talked about that, I remember. Most people have lost that kind of humanity though. That's the kind of stuff they should put on the evening news. More stories like that to get people motivated in that direction instead of the crap they put on there.
Have you ever?
You want some reality TV? That would make an awesome reality TV show. You guys
I'm sure this is. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm sure this has happened to you because it's happened to me more than one time where you're in line at the supermarket. You're in line, got your food on the thing. The person in front of you gets their total and they have to put back 5, 6, 7 pieces of item because they don't have enough money to get all the groceries that they put in their cart. If that ever happens to you, slide the person $5. Just hand the clerk $5, please.
No kidding.
I've done it at least 3 times in the past 5 years. And yeah, they may have items in their cart that they kept that are probably called luxury items. But the fact that they're putting back $5 worth of items, who cares what they have? Do a good deed.
People need to stop being so judgmental. You know, I gotta be honest with you. Some of the best people I ever met in my life, most people wouldn't give the time of day if they passed them on the street.
I agree.
They're down to earth people because they haven't lived to excess. They haven't had the ability to live to excess. Survive dumpster diving. There's a lot of people in this country doing that.
Yep.
That's the way they live from day to day, digging through dumpsters, trying to survive, find a new coat, new pair of shoes for them, new. Somebody else's trash. And yet, we've got $1 billion, huh, Mr. Kerry, to give to Ukraine, to push up their government,
It baffles the hell out of me.
To be a puppet for you and your cronies on Capitol Hill. What's wrong with you people up there? Where the hell have your priorities gone? You know, the thing that happened to this country. Actually, this is going to blow your mind, dude. I was having this conversation today with my UPS man. Exactly what I'm getting ready to tell you. And everybody listening. This country has gone, actually, I think it's the whole world. Most of the world.
Most.
Has gone from loving people to loving things. Things are not to be loved. They're to be used. People are to be loved. We've gone from using tools and things to loving them, and from loving people to using them. It's just backwards. Time for a reset.
Big time. I had a conversation with a security guard in our building because, you know, I work in that building now that's nothing but quote unquote government contractors. Mm-hmm. And that's all you'll ever get out of them, government contractors. And so I was talking to the security guard who's a retired 06 full bird in the Air Force.
Wow. He was in for a minute.
Yeah, and he just does this part-time. He's probably 65, 70 years old. He's the security guard at this building. You got to check in and check out with him.
Is he armed?
No. Nice guy. He might be underneath the counter, but not on his hip. Nice guy. Love him to death. Stone cold, hard Republican, as you would expect a lot of lifers in the military to be. They just are, traditionally, because of Reagan. You know, he was strong in the Reagan era. And I got to talking, we were talking about Ukraine the other day. And, you know, he was talking about we needed to put up a strong front, go in there, do this. And I'm like, dude, we need peace. What do you mean? What is that going to accomplish? I said, how about we get rid of all the wars and we have peace? What's wrong with that? Man, he went off on me, called me, you know, you're not a realist. You're not this, going off on me of his convictions that, hey, we got to go to war because that's what we've always done before. And I'm like, Larry.
What business is it of us? What happens in Ukraine? What business is it of the United States? What happens in Ukraine? They are not a strategic threat.
So Putin doesn't get a hold of it. That's the only reason we're there.
To expand the empire, man. They got all kinds of shit in the ground over there, dude. They got all kinds of minerals and natural gas and oh my God, dude, it's like a windfall. It's like a windfall. Plus it's right on Russia's doorstep, for Christ's sake.
It is.
If we could put a puppet government in there, man, we could expand the American empire even further.
Well, we got one in there right now. Putin knows it, and he doesn't want it in there, and that's why he's there. But, you know, I'm talking to this guy, and he's all war. We need to go put Putin in his place. We need to do this. We need to do that. And I'm like, how do you fight when he's a quote unquote patriotic American who firmly believes
we should send more boys to their death.
That we need to send more people to a banker's war to get killed just so we can prove that we're the world's police and the big bad guys and that we're the world's power. And I'm like,
well, tell him to grab a goddamn gun and go.
How about we pull out of everywhere, quit sticking our noses in other people's business, and we probably wouldn't have as many enemies trying to kill us if we weren't trying to impose our way of life on their way of life.
That's right.
What's wrong with that, Larry?
We need to pull out.
Well,
you're not like
a
Obama's
realist.
Daddy should have.
Yeah, you're not a realist. And I'm like, God, how do you, that's the kind of, warmongering people that we have in America that call themselves true Americans, true patriots.
Next time next time you see him, hand him a big bottle of fluoride. So here you go, brother.
I love him to death. He's a great guy. I mean, I talk to him all the
time about
barbecue. I'm sure he does. But I mean, I talk to him about barbecue all the time. We talk about the weather all the time. So I mean, he's a great guy, but he's got this view that sadly so many other people of America have, that
militarist.
Hey, yeah, militarist. We've got to go, impose our will of freedom on those people. Huh?
No. Bomb freedom into them? No. I'm not up for it no more. I'm so tired of that shit, dude. I'm so tired of seeing war on TV. I can't even.
We're all tired of it.
Well, evidently not some of us. I mean, you just spoke for one of them.
True. And how do we wake up the rest? I mean, that's why I go on the show.
That's why I asked you earlier, man, but you didn't come up with an answer. God damn it, I'm asking you.
I go on.
I asked everybody listening too. I said, hey, if you want to chime in, 71871. And look, we got 12 minutes left. Nobody called.
Yeah, well, I mean, I think most of these people that are in the chat, at least, kind of agree with us, or would hope that they would.
Preaching to the choir.
Preaching to the choir.
But I'm looking for suggestions, man. This is the only thing I do. This is it now. I talk my radio shows. And if some other people want me on theirs, I'll talk on theirs too. But I don't go out trying to wake people up anymore. I'm so far past that, man. If I hit home with somebody here, stop. I mean, if I spark,
I'll never stop.
If they show an interest, then maybe I will. Like today, we're talking with the UPS guy. If they seem like a like mind to me, then I'll engage with a conversation. But I don't go looking for sheep no more. I don't need that level of frustration. Sorry, go ahead.
I'll challenge you with this then, Jimmy, is that you are trying to wake people up, because I see your Twitter feeds.
Well,
I see your Facebook post. Every single post that you and I post at least 20 to 30 a day.
I don't do no cat memes.
No cat memes. They're all either anti-government or they're all about waking people up to what's going on guns.
Or they're really damn funny. I do gotta admit, I post some stuff on Facebook that's really super, like, Occupy Bacon. I'm a full on, every vehicle I have has an Occupy Bacon sticker on it. Cause I love them. They're just hilarious. So I do that, but I don't tell you bullshit stuff. You know what I mean? I don't tell you that I'm going to get my nails done or get my hair did or look at my new outfit I bought or what, it's none of that. It's none of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's wake up, people. Wake up, people.
I try.
Get your money out of the stock market.
I lose 5 people a day on Facebook trying to wake them up because I even paid
good, because you had 6,000.
I know. And I said, look, if you're a sheeple and you're still believing that this is on the 9/11, if you're still believing this official story, you're a sheeple. unfriend me right now because there is no hope for you.
You're part of the problem, man. Wake up. Pay attention to what's going on around you. You know, when I start seeing videos of people walking down the street on their cell phones, walking into poles and shit, walking into ponds in the middle of a mall, that's just ridiculous, man. How thick are you that you're going to walk into a pole while you're texting? Get your head out of your ass. For real. Man. But that's like I'm saying, dude, I don't need that level of frustration in my life. I got too many other things I'm focused on. You know, I got too many other things I'm focused on. Everything is on this property that I need to get all of my off-grid stuff going. I'm not waiting for any more packages. So that is getting ready to come out, you know. Did my video the other day on the radiation. You know, I'm focused on that kind of stuff. I'm focused on stuff that's going on around here that's affecting
the snow
me.
Radiation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Zip.
I saw that.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Regular background. So, you know, but if I can spark somebody talking on this mic, that's great. If somebody sees catches a tweet that I throw out there and they start paying attention a little more, that's great. But I'm not going to come sit down and have a Coke with you and start telling you about how you shouldn't be drinking that Coke. You know, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not up for that.
I'll always say, you know, that's poison, right? That's about all I'll say on Coke. Yeah, you know, that's poison, right?
I haven't had one in, almost 3 months now.
Is it really?
Yeah. I was drinking, cause I quit. I was only drinking about 1 or 2 a day back in Illinois. And then when I got back down here, it was just easy and convenient because I was doing so many other things.
Right.
So I got back to where I was drinking quite a few. And then, one day I just stopped cold turkey. I was like, that's it. That's the last one I'm drinking. And I've been drinking juice ever since, juice and water.
Yeah. It's been 5, 6, 7 years since I've had a full soda. When I get my mom a soda at the Wawa, I'll sip the tip of it to get the foam out of it. You know what I mean? When you fill it up, I may take a sip every once in a while, but you know, I'm a sweet tea kind of guy now.
Yeah. I'm going to start making my tea.
Sun tea. We don't make that.
Yeah. And then I can do regular tea too. Make it and then just throw it in the fridge, cool it off. But
yeah, when I learned, and I saw that in the room about battery terminals, when I saw that you could, use Coca-Cola to clean your batteries, I was like,
oh dude, you can take soda and a piece of tin foil and take rust off of your bumper. You can pour
drink it and ingest it through your system.
Well, no, listen to this. You can pour Coca-Cola into an engine and run it as oil. Use it as oil. It'll lubricate that engine fine for a very, very long time.
No kidding.
Yes. There was a thing that we did with Dr. Pepper because I used to be a huge Dr. Pepper drinker back when I was in the service until this guy showed me this little thing. He goes, my kid did this in kindergarten. Check this out. He took one of my cans of Dr. Pepper and he poured it in a glass and he put it on the windowsill and he threw a quarter in it. And he put a piece of plastic over the top of it with a rubber band. And we left it there for about 4 or 5 days. And he came back into the room and he goes, you checked that glass yet? And I said, no, it's just been sitting in the windowsill. He goes, check that glass. So I went over there, I picked it up and I looked at it and the quarter was gone.
No way.
The acid in Dr. Pepper is so bad that it will eat nickel and copper down to nothing.
Yet people drink it like it's water.
I did. Dude, when I was drinking, when I was driving a semi, I would drink a 12-pack a day, I'll bet you.
Yeah. I would drink Jolt. You know what Jolt is?
Oh my God, I couldn't do that.
Yeah. All the sugar, twice the caffeine. I mean, I would drink Jolt. You see these kids walking around with these Monster drinks.
Oh man, that's
now all the time.
horrible.
It's poison for you.
Oh my God.
And I always say it. Hey, you know that's poison for you. As I'm walking
And
by,
they're
I'm smoking a
huge
cigarette.
cans too. Rockstar, yeah, they're huge.
As I'm
cans.
walking by, I'm smoking a cigarette. Hey, you know that's bad for you.
That thing will be the death of you.
Yeah.
Hey, I smoke American spirits.
Me too. Organic.
Organics. Yeah. Teal box.
I was smoking the other day and a jogger ran by me and did one of those, you know how the non-smokers always make that noise.
Are you 12?
And I yelled over and I said, hey. I said, I'd get that cough checked out. I've been smoking for 20 years and I don't cough like that.
If you need a lug, I got 2. I'll let you have one of mine.
The person with me just about fell on the ground laughing. So
that's funny. I got to remember that one. I don't
you
run
need
into
to get
assholes
that cough
like
checked
that,
out.
Yeah. I don't run into assholes like that though.
They're all over here. Damn Greenpeace tree huggers.
Of
course I'm one too.
That's another reason that I moved out into the middle of freaking nowhere. Cause I'm almost over people. I'm right on the knife's edge of being completely over people. You know, if I could stay out here. If I had a couple more things out here, if I had about 4 more things out here, I'd never want to go into town again unless I absolutely have to. You know, I might go down to the dock when I'm getting in my boat and chat with the dudes down there at the marina. But other than that, you come to my property only if you're invited. And I'm good to go, you know. I'm just about done with people because like I told you earlier, man, I don't suffer stupidity anymore. And the more people you meet, the more stupid you find.
Really?
You think I'm lying?
No.
Go take a walk through them all.
No.
I don't see how you can be that close to DC. You know,
I go up there every other month, maybe once a month to visit
that's
my
what I'm
dad
saying,
because my dad lives up there.
Can you feel,
I love
the wave of idiot coming off of that place when you get closer? Well, I mean,
the problem with DC is, you know, that most people that you see in DC aren't from DC. They're tourists, especially if you go on the weekend, because anybody who works in DC isn't there on the weekend. I can assure you.
Oh no, they want to get away as far as
exactly far away as they can. I mean, the size of DC swells 3 times the size of population every morning because of the people coming in commuting.
Yeah.
But if you go there on the weekend, go to all the Smithsonian's, which is what we do. They're all free. Go down to Chinatown, get yourself some Chinese food in Chinatown. So I think DC is a great place to go on the weekend. I wouldn't want to live there or work there, because you're right. It's full of idiots.
But they're legalizing pot.
No, they're decriminalizing it. There's a difference.
Whatever.
Yeah, there's a difference.
Yeah. It's still illegal, but we won't arrest you.
Right. Give you a ticket, which would be like a parking ticket, but, it's the wave.
So a bag of weed will cost you $120 for a queue plus the $55 ticket. It's like their tax on your weed.
As soon as the government sees what Colorado and Washington gets in taxes on it, it won't be long before the federal government says, hey, how can we get a piece of this?
Oh, they're getting
Let's
ready.
do it
They're
like the
getting
ABC
ready, yeah.
stores. Yeah.
All you guys in Colorado that can't give your money to regular banks, we'll set up a federal exchange for you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, dude. Down to the last minute. What do you got for everybody?
Hold on. I got it. Hold on. If you stopped spending money at the grocery store next week, they would never even notice you were gone. If you took a small fraction of that money and spent it at the farmer's market, you'd help a local farmer pay the rent, and you might even save his farm. Buy local.
Buy local. Start local. Peace and love, everybody.
Peace and love.
Stay tuned for Anti-Media Radio next. Nick Burnaby's going to be bending your ear. We'll see you back on Friday. UCY.TV. Thanks, Lance.
Thank you, Jimmy. Peace, brother.